Deep work is intense, distraction-free focus on cognitively demanding tasks, also known as the flow. And in any line of work, constant context switching is a productivity poison. Frequent interruptions can completely derail your focus and momentum. And if you're a developer, I'm sure you can remember many moments when you've been building a deeply nested function with a whole bunch of dependencies, keeping all this complex structure in your head while laying it out in your text editor. Then somebody taps on your shoulder with a stupid question and all of that completely disappears into the abyss. When a developer loses that mental thread, it may take them 20-30 minutes, maybe an hour to get back on track. Some of the advice I'm going to give you, you've probably heard elsewhere in isolation, and this is quite a simple technique, but I can assure you, if you incorporate all these 5 simple advices in your work, in 1 week you will probably have completed your tasks for the month. Or maybe you will notice that you can complete the majority of your tasks for the day in just a few hours and have the rest of the day for yourself. And what's even more important, your mental stress from all of this unstructured work and constantly being late on the deadlines, it will all start to disappear. So how do you deal with that? Strong focus habits. The first one is the most obvious of them all, yet everybody for some reason completely overlooks it. Get enough sleep. So many times I've been sitting late at night trying to finish complicating code or maybe find a bug or push a PR, and it would just not work. And I'm the type of person that likes to finish things before you wrap up any kind of iteration. But a few times I left it for the next day, and I noticed that as I woke up, had my morning coffee and sat down to my code editor, everything seemed so obvious. It took me maybe a minute to complete what I could not complete for hours last night. 8 hours of sleep is a 50% chance of success the next day, and no matter what you're going to do. Trust me, you will figure this out when your head is going to be working at full capacity. Okay, now to a more applied advice. Optimize your work environment. I always keep a clean desk. There is nothing on my table except for my computer, monitor, keyboard and mouse, and maybe my phone. Nothing else. All the rest are distraction factors. It wasn't always like that for myself, and before I had my desk filled with all kind of stuff that I never need. It's just laying there until I throw it away, and it can stay there for months. And many times you get distracted on all these things trying to find something on your desk. So at one point I just threw everything away. On the contrary, if you're doing something creative, for example, you're not using the computer at all. Let's say you're drawing something. In this case, put everything else away and just keep your canvas and your pen and pencil, or maybe a brush, whatever you're using to make your masterpiece. And the rest of the stuff that is not relevant for your work just has to stay outside of the picture. This also applies to a clean desktop in your computer, a clean downloads folder. Whatever files you have in there either have to go into a separate folder if you need them, or they just go into trash. Because when you get to your workstation the next day and start your day from decluttering your desktop or downloads folder, or trying to find something in there that just came from Slack, you're just gonna waste time. I also like to use separate profiles in browsers, and that is true for Safari and Chrome, which helps me isolate the task that I'm working on right now. So if I'm doing something related to work, I have a work profile and all the tabs and settings and cookies related to my work. And if I want to do something for myself, I have a personal profile for that. One other way they help you stay focused, that even if during the work, using your work profile, you stumble on the website which you use in your leisure time, you're not going to be able to log in because all the logins are stored within the personal profile. And finally, during the deep work hours, mute all the notifications without exception, on your computer, on your phone, on your watch. Nothing has to distract you from what's about to happen. It's also very important to understand what are your most productive work hours for deep work. Determine those and stick to them no matter what. All the emails, calls, and any other noise is simply not acceptable. The only thing you have to do within these most productive work hours is deep work. Treat this time as an important meeting only with yourself. How do you pace your work? For me, it's Pomodoro technique with a twist. Textbook Pomodoro is 25-minute sprints with a 1 5-minute break. That is 1 Pomodoro, and then you do 4 of those, and then you have a longer break. For software developers, these sprints should be longer. For me, 40 minutes to an hour usually work. You should generally try to interrupt your work for this 5 to 10 minute break every time, but sometimes, and I can totally understand, this can be some really complex logic that you're trying to build up, and maybe you could extend that sprint for another 20 to 30 minutes. But if you stay in the zone for longer, your cognitive abilities will start to decrease without you even noticing that. Before you understand, you're caught in a loop and trying to find a solution to a technical problem, where the solution to this whole situation is just to stop, take a break, relax for 5 minutes, and the solution will come on its own. What's the twist? I do push-ups and squats or any other physical activity, although I try to stick with these two. And this helps in so many ways. Programmers have a very passive lifestyle and they generally need to move more. And going to a gym 2-3 times a week aren't going to cut it. If you're sitting at your desk for 8 or 10 hours a day, this is going to inevitably reflect on your health. But if you're doing physical activities every 1 hour, this is going to reflect on your physical health in the long term, and this constant pumping blood through your veins will help you stay concentrated and fresh once you get back to your computer for your next sprint. So during those breaks, try to do something refreshing. Drink some water, physical activities, stretch, or maybe a short walk around your house. Just don't do scrolling on your phone, because this will basically overload your brain even more. Such a rhythmic focus approach will help you prevent burnout during the day. Hack number 4 is music, and by that I mean noise cancelling headphones and no vocals. Because if you got words in there, even if you're not listening to them, your brain will still process them and you will not stay completely focused. A long time ago I've been listening to drum and bass that tend to help me concentrate the most. And by the way, there is a scientific study. They took a few people, they put them in a car and asked them to drive in a few iterations with a given speed while the speedometer was blocked, and every time they were playing different music. And for every single case and every subject, while they were listening to drum and bass music, they were driving closer to the designated speed. So drum and bass is one love, and I've listened to all the tracks I could find that would help me concentrate, because not all of them work. Some of them have vocals and different disturbing sounds. And about 7 years ago, I've discovered Brain FM. It's a music streaming service for productivity, and it completely blew my mind. I've been listening to it ever since. And no matter where, at work, at home, at school, in the airport, in a coffee shop, you just put on your headphones, turn on the deep work playlist, set a timer for 40 minutes and forget the world exists. You can use my link down below to get a free 30-day access and check it out. I'm sure you're gonna love it. Pro tip. Once you have figured out the time of the day that works best for your deep work iterations, communicate that to your team or your family or whoever distracts you during the day. Maybe even set a status in Slack. Say from 9 to 11 or from 10 to 12, I'm going to be doing deep work, do not disturb me. By setting this expectation, you won't feel guilty for not answering that email or Slack message, and you'll be much less interrupted during your deep work blocks. And many tech companies are actually embracing the core maker hours. One other thing you can do is to make an appointment in your shared calendar for every day of the week during your deep work hours that you're going to be busy. So nobody would schedule meetings, calls, or distract you with anything. The ability to do deep work is increasingly rare and valuable in the knowledge work. The trick is to create a bubble where you can dive into code without outside chatter. Even one 60-minute block without distractions during the day can dramatically improve output. Deep focus is like a muscle. It strengthens with practice. Protecting your focus will help you accomplish in 4 hours what otherwise would have taken you a week. Trust me, I know from experience.